Welcome to Red Story. Please enjoy and subscribe. We'll be happy to tell you more. Now today's first story comes from Trader Smith, who says, "My wife, 25 female, is cheating on me, 27 male, without cheating on me. Let me explain. Sorry this is long, but there's a lot of information. My wife and I have been each other's closest and often only friends for the longest time. Both of us are very shy and have a hard time making friends. Recently, she made a friend at her job, who was a guy. She's had work friends before and never really bothered me, but this one is different. First, she started texting him a lot out of nowhere, and I didn't know about it until I discovered she went over our texting limit, which she never ever got close to before. She hid it from me for fear of me getting jealous. She is adamant about him just being a friend and one that she needs. She goes to lunch with him and goes to get coffee. Once a week or so, they talk on the phone for a couple of hours. They've also been sending pictures of themselves to each other. Not racy ones or anything, just normal stuff. They often text each other all day long, literally even to the point that they have to say goodnight to each other. Now, for the most part, she has been open about it all. Every now and then, I'll discover something she didn't tell me or catch her in a small lie that she said she was doing to protect my feelings. But still, for the most part, she isn't hiding it. I'm fairly positive they aren't spending more time together than I think because there isn't any missing time in her schedule that I've seen. No time unexplained. But I still feel like she's having an emotional affair. I've told her in no uncertain terms that this makes me uncomfortable, that I really don't like her having this level of friendship with another man, but I also know it's wrong for me to tell her that she can't have this friendship. The problem is she's also married, and their marriage is going through tough times, and his wife has told him not to text my wife anymore, so they started texting through hanging with friends so she won't know. Which I think is disrespectful and wrong. People at work have been speculating that they are having an affair to the point it spread to the whole store. I've asked my wife in one of the many fights and discussions we've had about this if she would tell her mom what she was doing. She said no. I asked if she thought what she was doing was against my wishes and his wife's wishes. She said no, but this is not enough to get her to stop. I'm not even asking her to drop him as a friend and just to treat him like a normal friend from work. No platonic dates or long chats or all-day text marathons. She's even told me that if the situation was reversed, she would hate it if I had a girlfriend like this, but still, this is not enough for her to stop. I cannot talk to anyone about it because every friend or family member of mine is also close with her and I wouldn't want anyone thinking less of her or knowing we were having issues. So I have to suffer in silence. I don't know what I should do. I'm trying to respect her and not be overbearing, but this whole thing just feels like it has gone way too far. And I feel like I'm justified in hating this. It feels good to write this all out. Sorry I rambled and jumped around a bit. Just so much information. Anyway, what do you think? Am I just being too sensitive or paranoid? Or am I right in being upset? Texting all day long, photos to each other, knowing that the behavior that they're showing towards you is disrespectful, but continuing to do it, admitting to that themselves that they wouldn't like it. It simply is cheating. It may be emotional, but it's still cheating. This has gone beyond just a platonic friendship, and it's a very short step away from a physical one, I think. You've seen it a few times in these stories. A bubble bath junkie says, "Hello dear, reading your post had me making a list in my head. This friend of your wife's works with her, so they already have regular interaction. On top of this, they started texting all day and sending each other pictures. They are so close to the office's gossiping. Both spouses are uncomfortable. Yet in spite of the gossip, the upset spouses, and your wife admitting she wouldn't be happy if the tables were turned, she refuses to dial back her contact with this person. Not cease contact, just dial back to a normal friendship level. It's good that she's been open with you, which I take as a sign that she at least partially knows her behavior is problematic and she trusts you and wants to change or be called out. But at the same time, the extent to which she interacts with this guy says to me that at this moment in time, he's her top priority. She knows she's making you uncomfortable. She knows he's putting his marriage at risk. She knows the office is gossiping, but she can't help but talk to him constantly. I would be worried, especially if she knows you won't leave her. I mean, basically, she can do whatever she wants and take advantage of your loving heart with no repercussions. That sounds like what she's doing right now, to be honest. She can indulge in her fixation with her friend and spend all day interacting with him, having him make her feel special and interesting and awesome. And she knows that she'll still get to bask in your feelings for her and snuggle with you at the end of the day. It's a risk-free emotional affair, and it's completely unfair and hurtful to you. You're absolutely right to be upset. And one more comment from Tholos Fox, who says, "You're not being sensitive or paranoid. This is overstepping the line, and it will most likely turn into a full physical affair. This is pretty much how they all start. You've already caught her lying, and they're going behind his wife's back. There's a chance she's doing the whole boyfriend overlap, which will result in your wife leaving you for this loser. You have a few options. A. Sit back and see what happens. Could fizzle out. She could sleep with him and realize what mistake she has made. She could run away with him. B. Put your man pants on. Tell her this is inappropriate and tell her you are absolutely not going to tolerate it. C. Get a friend, change his name to a woman's name and phone. Start texting all day, every day, send pictures, etc. Give her a taste of her own medicine. This is pathetically passive-aggressive, but hey, you can't be adults all the time. So OP gave their first update in the same post and says, "Thank you all so much for your comments and advice. It has all been very eye-opening and helpful. I realize now that I'm in denial and that whether she realizes it or not, this is a problem that needs fixing. I left her a letter at home explaining my feelings and packed a small bag. I'm spending the night in a hotel, and I've asked to meet with her tomorrow to talk this thing out. I don't know if this is the right step to take first, but I feel like I need to wake her up to the fact that I'm not going to be okay with this. I'm sure she'll try to call and find me tonight. Don't know if I'll answer when she does. Not sure what's going to happen, but whatever is going to happen, it happens now. I'll post a proper update soon. Also, sorry for the confusion about the gender thing. I didn't even realize I listed myself as female until someone directly asked me if I was a lesbian. That explains a few other slightly puzzling responses too. But yeah, I'm a guy." The OP then comes in with a main update and says, "Thank you all so much for your comments and advice. It has all been very eye-opening and helpful. I came to realize I was in denial and that whether my wife realized it or not, this was a problem that needed fixing. As I already posted yesterday, I left her a letter at home explaining my feelings and packed a small bag. I went to spend the night in a hotel and asked to meet with her tonight to talk this thing out. In the letter, I posted about a dozen other comments from you folks just so she could see what other people think of our situation. I also included what I posted so she would know I didn't exaggerate. Don't worry, I didn't include your handles. She won't be coming after you. When she got home and read the note, she called me. I didn't answer, but in her voicemail, in which she was bawling, which is very uncharacteristic of her, she begged me to come home and talk. She said in the message that yesterday she was at lunch with the other guy and they both had already decided to end the friendship because they both realized they were developing feelings for each other. After a while, I decided to go home and talk with her. We had quite a long conversation. She told me that the other day he admitted to having feelings for her but promised not to push. She told me that the day before yesterday she realized she was developing feelings for him too and it scared her. She said she really thought they were just friends, that she was refusing to believe it was becoming anything more. And then it just happened. She told me it didn't do anything physical yet, but it hadn't got that far, which is why they decided to end the friendship because neither wanted to cross a line they can't uncross. I'm choosing to believe her in that. She told me that even though she was already backing out of the friendship with him, the letter I left really opened her eyes to what she was doing to me and to us. It killed me to see her so broken and ashamed. I've never seen her like this before. We both cried for a long time. I said everything I had to say and asked the questions I needed to know the answers to. I believe she was honest with me, finally about everything, including some things that were hard to hear. This went on for a couple of hours. Instead of staying at the hotel by myself, I invited her to come with me. We went out to dinner, went to the hot tub at the hotel, and had a wonderful night together. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but this isn't the end of it. We got a lot of stuff to work through. We were talking about some counseling, and it'll take me a while to fully trust her again. I'm not just letting it slide like nothing happened, but I'm also not giving up on my marriage. I will not. I never will. Some of you may think that makes me a chump, but I don't care. This is the woman I pledge to spend the rest of my life with, and as long as I have a say in the matter, I don't intend on breaking that promise. For better or for worse, Sprite. Today, I also sent a text message to the other guy, telling him that my wife told me what was going on and that I wanted to make it clear that if I ever see even just a single non-work-related text from him on her phone again, that we will be having a different discussion and in person. My wife and I have a long road ahead of us, but I'm positive we are both committed to getting things fixed between us and moving forward. I really wanted to thank all of you, at least those of you who offered real advice for yesterday. I needed to be woken up, and I think it happened just in the nick of time. I feel like this dark cloud is finally starting to break up." OP then gave another smaller update, which said, "Hello again, everyone. Thank you all, most of you anyway, for your wonderful messages of encouragement. My wife and I have been having a lot of deep emotional discussions over these last couple of days. Having been with her for 12 years, I can honestly say that I've noticed a big change in her during these past couple of months, but these past few days, she's finally back to her old self again. I can tell that she's sincere. Turned out that the other guy and his wife are moving away soon, which makes me happy. My wife has felt so terrible. She's committed to being transparent, allowing me to be as nosy as I need to be and to check up on her as much as I need to until I feel comfortable again. We're going to be starting up some counseling with our pastoral soon, which I think is going to be a great help. It still hurts that it even got as far as it did. I've been cycling through anger, hurting, disappointment, and hope. I'm sure it'll take a long while before those bad feelings go away, but we're going to be okay. I'm sure of it. And one of the top comments on this one basically said OP is rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, and that's kind of how it felt to me. As always, I don't have the full information, but she said it never got physical. I'm not sure if I believe that. Him suddenly moving away, her disrespecting OP's feelings, and the conversation up to the point that he's actually packing his bags to leave. Incredibly messy. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Our next story comes from Elegant Eclipse 777 and says, "Am I the arsehole here for going off on my sperm donor after contacting me 31 years later looking for sympathy?" There's a lot to put here, but I'm going to explain things as best as I can. Me and my sperm donor have a very strained relationship. From the stories my mother told me, he used to do drugs a lot before and after I was born. She told me that while she was pregnant with me, he never once helped her do anything. He took her money, made her cook and clean, and treated her like trash. He even allowed his friends and family to treat her like trash. After I was born, he got worse until he just took everything, his stuff, and all the money. He left my mom $38 to use to take care of me and left. My mom told me that when he left, he looked at her and then me and he said, "She'll be all right," then ran off down the road like a drifter. There were a few times he came into my life trying to be involved, but they were all big letdowns, nothing to sing home about. So fast forward to yesterday, I get a message from him on Facebook Messenger with him saying, "I love you." I was confused and basically just asked really blunt questions about what he wanted. He told me he wanted a father-daughter relationship and that when I'm ready, let him know. I will admit Reddit. I saw red and the 31 years of built-up anger, rage, and sadness exploded like a dam. I went off. I told him he was a terrible father and that he walks around caring about other people's kids and preaching about how God wants us to do this and that, but he could never follow those teachings and do right by me. He ignored every single attempt I made to get him to recognize that he didn't do right by me. He flipped everything around to make it seem like he's the victim. He even had the nerve to shame my mother for choosing me instead of him. I was a newborn. I needed her, but all he cares about is himself. I left a long message pointing out his faults and how he needs to better himself, then called it a night. About 2 days later, he messaged me while I was playing Fallout 76 with my friends and tells me to grow up and that I don't know anything about him. Yeah, no kidding, you left me, dumbass. He then throws a curveball by telling me he has cancer, and if I don't want a relationship with him, then it's basically my loss and he'll pray for me. Now I will admit, I may be an arsehole on how I went off on him, but I feel like my feelings are warranted. His side of the family doesn't care about me. His mother preaches God to me every time she calls me on my birthday and pressures me to have children because I have yet to give her grandbabies. I'm not against having children, but I'm enjoying life before I focus on caring for a little human. His sister used to make fun of me and call me a football player as a baby because I was a chubby baby. Ironic since her daughter looks like pit bulls. They don't even try to get to know me. The only time I matter is my birthday, and that's if they care enough. But people of Reddit, am I the arsehole for going off on my dad? Absolutely not the arsehole to me in this situation. And him telling you about the cancer was it just, I'm sorry, but it felt like just a manipulation move to me. There was no need for him to bring that up. He's basically saying if you don't meet me now, you never will. And obviously not making light of cancer or anything like that, but do you believe him as well? It wouldn't be the first time we've seen someone lie about a terminal illness. I mean, he's not saying it's terminal in this, but it sort of suggests that the way he mentioned it about it's basically your loss. And it's one of those stories where this guy's just a random in your life. Biologically sure he's your father, but is he actually? He doesn't deserve the title, hasn't contributed nothing to your life, has given you nothing. He's just a random human in your life and one that's caused you pain. You want to invite that back in? I mean, I can't answer that for you, but I don't think I would. And I'm always someone like in these stories when I read them, I'm always curious to meet up like this is totally for my own benefit, like I would want to know what they would say. But in this situation, I don't even see the need for that. Ope added a comment below to say to add some added context. My sperm donor is a habitual liar. I'm not 100% sure he has cancer, but I'm not a cruel person, so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But I still believe my feelings are warranted. The commenter says, not the asshole. He abandoned you. You don't owe him anything. For your own mental health, reflect on how you feel about his cancer, and if it makes you feel good to do so, then have a coffee with him once a quarter until he passes. In person only, no texting, no long phone calls. That's how they wrap you into their messed up world. If you feel like you have regrets about his cancer, then establish a relationship from a distance. Also, this is unfortunately a very common thing that men who abandon their children will do, waiting for the child to grow up and then love bombing them. Don't fall for that tactic. You do not have to forgive him. You do not have to love him. You do not even have to speak to him. This is your life, your time, your energy. Be cautious. OP came in with her update and says, I originally posted this in the comments because I'm new to this, so I apologize. First off, thank you everyone who left a comment and those who are finding this story and still leaving comments. My heart goes out to those who share the same experience I'm going through with my sperm donor. I wish you nothing but positivity and happiness in your futures, and the advice you gave me, I am very thankful for it. You've given me steps I needed to block the toxicity out of my life for the future, and now, I thank you all. Now for the update. Me and my mom read some of your comments, and she thoroughly enjoyed your thoughts on her ex. This update is small, but it sheds some more light on my sperm donor. He messaged me a little after I posted this. I guess he felt I was talking trash about him, so I asked my mom more about my sperm donor, and she told me that lying, gaslighting, manipulating, and playing victim is his whole MO. She said he did it a lot before she had me. One story she told me was how she was pregnant with me. She had to walk 2 miles from home to the grocery store, then back while carrying all the groceries. I was shocked because I thought he would at least help her, but she told me he always sat on his ass watching TV and didn't do anything to help. She then told me how after she was busy taking care of the house, bills, chores, and dinner, he expected her to give him some. I looked at Mom and legit said, Mom, I love you, but you could have chosen someone better. She just laughed and agreed with me. We spent the day just talking and bonding. The last story she told me of him is how he put me in danger. She told me that she had left me with him because she had to work and handle some errands. While this piece of garbage took me with him to a place where people were using drugs and just left me in a room with some random female while he went and got high. We were there for hours. When she hadn't heard from him, she, my aunt, and my grandma, her mother, went looking for us, and they somehow by chance found us. She saw me in the arms of a woman who took care of me while he was in an altered state. She was furious. After that, she never trusted me around him ever again. After hearing this story, I'm feeling so many emotions, but it has cemented my dislike of him, and I mostly definitely am going infinite no contact. I blocked him on Facebook and will have him blocked on my phone permanently. I do have siblings, or I guess half-siblings. We have different mothers, but we all share his genes. I don't have a good relationship with them, and they all act equally childish and entitled, but that's a story for another day. I don't know if he's told them about his issue. I'm going to assume he has, since he was pretty comfortable messaging me like he didn't abandon me. Whatever makes them happy, I guess. Not my boat to ride on. They haven't messaged me, which I'm grateful for. I'm too tired to deal with their childishness. I did, however, get a message from some woman who I later found out is his wife. I guess she felt like she had the right to talk down to me like she's my mother. I sent her the middle finger, called her a bunch of names. My favorite is ugly Chewbacca-looking head, and told her to stay in her lane. You're not an upgrade, you're a downgrade, he settled for, then blocked her. I got emails from Facebook telling me I got messages from him, but I ignored them. I'm tired of dealing with this man-child's game, so I'm choosing to move on. As for his side of the family, I'm going no contact. I get a strong feeling that if I ever met his side of the family, I'd probably go through abuse, name-calling, and what I'd like to call third child/black sheep syndrome, and I'm not up for that. I have my wonderful mother, and to her, I'm her number one. All I need is her. I'm sorry if it's not a decent update. A lot is going on, and I'm mentally tired from everything. If anything else happens, I will update. Thank you all again, and God bless you all, and have a wonderful day and weekend. And for me, I think OP did absolutely the right thing in this situation. It doesn't sound like he's ever going to change the way he is. He still sounds like a manipulative person, but it doesn't make it any easier for OP to go through what they have gone through. I'm incredibly sorry you've had to deal with this, OP. I hope you thrive without this side of the family in your life at all. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so.